Hello, welcome to The Wandering Drew. I am Drew. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to do things a little differently in this video because I'm going to do an intro because I feel, unfortunately, I need to have an explanation of this video. This video is not of the greatest quality in terms of focus. It's actually out of focus, but that's my error. As some of you that watch the channel know, I purchased a new camera a couple of weeks ago. This is the Lumix S5 Mark II, just came out in the beginning of February. Started shipping, and I received it probably about 3-4 weeks ago. And this was my first chance to get it out on the trail. And I had to drive to this trail several hours. So what I did do was had it sitting on my pack in the back of my car. This lens has something I've never had on any other lens. It has a small switch on the side, and you can see it right here, that goes from autofocus to manual focus. Well, I guess while I was driving, that switch got flipped to manual focus. I was unaware of that. When I got out the trailhead, it was extremely bright. I had the display turned down because I was trying to save battery, and I've only been using it really indoors, just setting up settings and exploring. So I didn't realize that it was out of focus. I just couldn't see it very well, and I thought it was just me. Well, when I got back to check the video the following day, actually not even that day, I discovered it actually the next morning when I went to shoot more video, and I realized that it was out of focus, and then I discovered that switch was flipped. So my next hike the following day, I was able to save the video, but this video unfortunately is not exactly up to par, so I apologize for that, but I had to do it. I've been traveling, I didn't have a chance to make any other videos, so I'm going with what I have. So I apologize in advance for the video and hope that it's tolerable enough that you get some enjoyment. There are some parts of the video that are moderately in focus or just happen to luckily be in focus. This video is a hike on the Wetlands Trail, which is in Hillsborough River State Park. It's a 1.6 mile trail, very, very easy to navigate. It's wide enough for vehicles to go through. Service vehicles for the park use it, so you can see where there's ruts in the road and you just have to walk. It was not wet in any way. There was no hazards or any place that would give anybody any problem in walking this trail. It's listed as 1.6 miles. I did actually 3.9 something miles on this trail, walking up and back. I walked a little further. I actually left the boundary of the park and walked probably about an extra quarter mile or so. So that's it. Hope you'll understand and bear with me, and I apologize, and I'll be back next time with a hopefully much better and in focus video. Thank you again for your understanding. Till we meet again. Hi. Wandering Drew here. I've traveled to the west coast of Florida. I'm at Hillsborough State Park, and I'm going to do the Wetlands Trail. I just arrived, had a little problem with my camera. I'm using my new camera, so I'm still getting, I must have left it on and the battery went dead. But luckily, like a good Boy Scout, I planned and brought a second and third battery, so I was able to swap it out. I'm going to take my pack with me. It's pretty light. It's probably in the 24, 25 pound range without the camera on. I just parked here. I came into the park. It was $4 for a person in a single vehicle. It's $6 if you have a car with several people in it, and I believe it's $2 if you're a pedestrian or a bicyclist. So we're going to start down the trail and see what we find. It's a short trail. It should be about 3.2, 3.3, so I'm figuring about an hour, maybe an hour and a half. And let's get to it. And here we are starting our trek, passing through the gate, and see what we bring. It's a beautiful day. It's about 80 something degrees. It's hot, full sun, but I'm looking, it's just a short day hike I could do. I'm in the area visiting a relative, as I've done in the past, so I was looking for another trail that I could possibly do, and here we are. Nice tree coverage, and it's noisy. You hear a little bit of a helicopter and an airplane went by since I've been here. So here I am again, about maybe a tenth, maybe a tenth and a half into the trail, and I came to this area where there's obviously been a fire in the here. You can still very strong smell of fire, and you can see the damaged ground and the trees behind me. But the trees look like most of them are alive still at the tops, but the bases and the trunks all have damage, and there's no ground cover at all. It's all perfect. So we'll continue on. Just wanted to give a couple of more images of the area behind me, and you can see the burned area. This is where the forest fire is. This area looks good, and I'm coming up to. So like I said, very localized event it looks like. But we'll keep going, see what we see. So it is a nice, hot and humid day. Traffic wasn't too bad getting here from where a relative I was visiting. It took about 40-45 minutes, but it's a beautiful park. Seems to be heavily used, at least this weekend. There were a lot of people coming into the park. Had to wait in line for everyone to pay their fee. So other than that, excellent day for hiking. So we'll see how it goes. And now I'm almost about a third of a mile in, and you can see another area where there was a forest fire. Once again, to the base of the trees. Some of the trees are burned all the way to the top, as you can see right there. And they've lost their top, I think it's called the crown of the tree, for a palm tree. Might have to look that up. Oh, there was something there. I saw something. I don't know what it is. A squirrel? I keep hearing a lot of birds, so I know there's wildlife abounding, but I'm probably making too much noise. But you can see the area is quite burned and damaged. All the ground foliage is gone. Easy path, as you can tell. They obviously drive vehicles back here, or at least golf carts, probably utility vehicles. So, but you know, once again, I just like to illustrate that you can find a lot of places to hike, day hike. If I'm in the area, if I only had an hour or two, I could easily do this, get back to my car, and then go about my business, or just take a diversion if you're here passing through the area. So one of the things I like to do if I'm going somewhere and I do have time, like I have basically tonight and tomorrow morning, here visiting a relative. So I say hello, and then I say goodbye, go do a hike, and come back. I can always meet them later and spend time with them as well. But I get a little exercise in and a little outdoors time, which is nice. Doesn't take a lot of planning if you really want to get out in nature. You just have to find the place near you, and there are places, parks, trails everywhere. Some of them are better than others. This one at least is a rural area, but you can see it's a dirt path that cars drive over. It's hard packed, easy hiking. Not a challenge at all. Another area where forest fire burned the ground. Smell of the fire is very strong here. So that leads me to believe it hasn't been that long. I know the fire danger alert is high in this area. They have not received a lot of rainfall. So I've reached my first crossroads, or T. Basically, there's two ways you can get here. There's two parking lots. There's one down this way, and there's one in the main park where I got actually paid my toll at the ranger station, then parked. So this is the way I came, and this is the other way. And if you look out there, you might see a car pass by. That is the road, the main road. So I guess I could have parked there and walked in a little bit, but I did an extra, probably quarter mile, half mile almost. And we're going to continue going on. And there's been a lot of burned out areas. I haven't been showing them all, but I've continually passed areas. Even the area I'm now, you can tell there was a little fire along the right side of the road. And I just came across a sign that advised that there are prescribed fires. So this area that was burned might have been a prescribed burn to help the park and the ecosystem of the area, recover and continue the normal process. So it may not have been a forest fire. It may have been a prescribed fire. I have no way of knowing. I guess I could ask the rangers. And I've come to my second crossroads here, where there's another trail called the Fort King Trail, and I'm assuming that little shape is supposed to be a fort, telling me to go off to the left, and I'm going to stay on the Wetlands Trail, which is to the right. The Fort King Trail is a much longer trail, and I believe there is some road walking involved in that. I decided not to do that today. I wanted to stay more in the park and not go so long a distance. Tomorrow, I'm hoping to do another longer trail, closer to almost 10 miles. So, but it just lets you know there are other options here. There are several other trails. And this is just the one I picked to do based on the time I thought I would have available. But I actually got here a lot sooner than I thought. I didn't think I'd be hiking till about 2 or 3 o'clock based on my driving and, you know, my family and getting them together. The person I came with to visit family. But I ended up getting here much sooner, even though we had quite a distance to drive. So I ended up getting to the park sooner. It is a Sunday morning, so traffic was very light, which was beneficial for me. So I had more time to hike. But I'm going to stick with the original plan, do this trail. Didn't sleep much last night. I only got about 3.5 to 4 hours sleep. So before I drove several hours. So looking forward to finishing this, going to a hotel room and getting a shower, and maybe even taking a nap. Well, I've been walking for about 38 minutes or so. That's including my stopping to record, so probably more like 30 to 35 minutes. It says I've gone about 1.6 miles, and I see there's a sign and a gate up ahead. I don't know if that's the trail continues or it's the end of the park and the trail, but we'll see shortly. The last maybe half mile, or well, probably quarter mile really, has been more in shade, and it hasn't quite been, you can see the path, it's a little overgrown, so it probably doesn't get as much use as the first part of the trail. People probably just go down to the T or a little bit after and then turn around and head back. So let's see what the sign has to say. Okay, you can see the sign now. I can read it. It says you are now leaving Hillsborough River State Park and entering Dead River County Park. Nice name, I guess. So I'm assuming the trail continues, so I'm going to continue as well. I'll probably take the map out and look for it for a second or two, but I'm going to keep going. So it looks like I came to the end of this trail. There is a path that kind of continues on, but I know I'm in the other park, and according to a map, I used all trails. This is the end of the trail. It's called the Wetlands Trail. There is some wetlands on the side while you're walking, but the path is actually dry. There's only one spot that has a little standing water, and there's actually a little wood bridge off to the left of the trail that you can climb over it. It wasn't even full. I could have walked through it probably and kept dry. It was where probably there were some ruts, and the road was probably washed out a little bit, so they built a little overpass off to the side. Other than that, it's been hot and humid, but not bad. It's been there's been a little bit of a breeze, and it's been a pretty enjoyable walk. I did double back. I did double back once or twice toward the end here because I thought I was on a different road, trying to use the trail, but the GPS position on my phone was actually off. So I'm on the trail still, and I've reached the end of it. So I'm going to head back toward the start and get back to my vehicle. And if I see anything along the way, obviously I'll film it and I'll do a little recap. But other than that, nice easy trail. I think anyone of any ability could do this. There was no hard parts at all. This is an easy trail. It's hard packed a lot of the area because of vehicles driving over it. There was only 2 or 3 places where it was a little soft, or someone had, maybe a vehicle or something had dug something up and you had to step over an area. Other than that, pretty easy trail. So let's get going back. And here you can see one of the areas I was talking about. It looks like it's supposed to have been chewed up. I don't know if they took a tree out of here. It looks like something has fallen, and maybe they dragged it and it turned up the ground a little bit. This could also be damage from pigs as well, wild hogs. Have seen no animal sign at all on the trail. No prints, no scat, anything. And wildlife has been basically birds, butterflies, lizards. I think I saw one squirrel, and that's really it. So But it is very quiet back here. Occasionally you just get a sound of a plane transitioning overhead, as you can hear right now. But other than that, you know, I've been walking. I haven't really been stopping, and maybe if I sat somewhere and got quiet, maybe some wildlife would come out or show itself. And I'm also watching where I'm walking. Like I said, back here, it's a little bit more overgrown. There's a little bit more debris on the trail. It's not as probably heavily used, and therefore it's not as clean and easy to navigate. But anybody could do this, and you could have easily stopped at the gate and just turned back, and I don't think that would be much of a difference. I'm already walking back. Shows I've gone 2.1 miles. I did a little bit of double back, maybe like 0.1, 0.2. Even with my videoing, probably 0.3 at the most. So, and I'm at 53 minutes right now. So easily doable in about 45 minutes in and maybe 45 minutes back. So an hour and a half, you could probably do the whole trail with no problem. And that's just a leisurely pace. I'm not really pushing it, but I am by myself. So, you know, I'm not talking to anyone. I'm also a little mad at myself. I left my headphones in the car. I realized once I started walking, and I would have listened to like music or a podcast maybe, or something like that, just to pass the time when I wasn't recording anything. And we're back at the gate at the edge of the park. This is where it basically leaves the park. It does show it on the map. It looks like it's the gate, and it warns you you're leaving the park, but the road still continues on a little bit. So I took it, and we'll walk through and head back. So shouldn't be that long, and we'll be back to the T and then head back toward the parking lot. And we are back in Hillsborough River State Park. You can see right there's an area of wetlands with standing water in it, and it's close proximity to the trail. Here's the trail to it. So you can see it's probably like 25, 30 feet, but the trail is higher, and with the level of water they're at now, there's obviously no issue. You can see off on the side of the trail where I'm walking right now that it probably does get wet and flood at times, but today, during the dry season in March, it's not an issue. So I'm on my way back. I should be coming up to that T soon. I'm along a open area, but it has warning signs not to go in there because they use wastewater to water the area and obviously probably fertilize as well. So they want you to stay out of it, but it's a beautiful open area. So there's a beautiful clump of trees I was looking at right there. You can see them. It'd be a great place to like stop and maybe, you know, have a snack or just take a little break, but unfortunately it's in this area here, so you're not supposed to go in it. And I'm coming back to the junction with the Fort King Trail. We'll obviously continue on, and a little bit further past that I can see the road up ahead, so I know I'm coming to that junction that goes off to where I parked my car back in the main park, which is parking lot number 5. So you have to basically drive through the whole park to get to that parking lot, and then you can start the trail. There's another parking lot that's further south of the main entrance to the park, and you can park there and just walk right in. That might be a little better. You don't have to go through the whole park and deal with it. And now, in hindsight of seeing that sign about the prescribed burn, it does make sense to me, because some of the areas, the burn is very, very narrow, just alongside the trail. And in other places, it goes back a little deeper. So, and areas in between aren't touched. So it seems more and more likely that that was a prescribed burn and not a, you know, forest fire or wildfire, because there's areas of gap that just don't seem to be touched. So there must be a reason for that. So it makes sense to me. Other than that, walking this trail, I pretty much had it to myself. I just saw 2 bicyclists on the other trail, the Fort King Trail. It looks like they're fixing their gear. And I'm back by that joining of the two trails to the parking lots. And I'm going to veer off to the left and get back to where I parked my car. So another maybe half mile at the best. I think it's a little less than that. And you can see more of the areas where there was a burn. And I'm almost back to the parking lot. This is the one area I discussed before where there was some standing water in the roadway, and there's actually a little bridge. You can see it coming up here. So I imagine this is probably maybe an area that is prone to flooding. And the ruts in the road where the vehicles go is probably a low spot, so it probably fills up with quite water most of the year. So therefore, they built this little footbridge to take you just over that worst part, or maybe where water flows, to drain the area. So, like I said, you can walk right through the middle without probably getting wet. The water's very low today, but we'll use the footbridge anyway. So I made it back. Here's the gate where I first came in, and I just saw a person passing me on foot. The same person that I saw when I first came here. They were going back the other way. Maybe they were staying at a campsite or something here. When I got here, there were no cars, and there's now 4 cars. So I guess some people are using it to visit the trail and use it. Not much wildlife, but you know, like the other person that I just passed, we were discussing briefly. I didn't see anything. Asked if I got any good pictures or whatever. I said, no, not really. I don't expect it in the middle of the afternoon. Probably do better early in the morning or later at night when the deer and other animals are feeding and there's not so much probably human traffic. Other than that, it was a great trail. Like I said, I really was by myself. I never saw those bicyclists pass me. I saw them down the trail when I was coming back, but they were on the Fort King Trail and never passed me. So they may in fact be staying or parked at the other parking lot, or they could be going back here. I'm not sure. Other than that, good trail, short, uneventful, easy tread. Like I said, no problem at all. I think anybody could do this with any ability. If you can walk, you can do it. There was no technical areas at all. Like I said, you have to, but maybe during the rainy season it might be flooded more. But that's it. So I'm gonna put my stuff away. I am gonna weigh my pack and I'll check back in. So just an update. I weighed my pack. It's 18.5 pounds. So very, very light. Much lighter than I thought it was. I did not drink any water or eat anything on this trip. One thing that was really good is I got to shake down some of my gear. I carried the camera tripod the whole trip, so I really never carried it on my back except for the first, you know, probably 50, 60 feet. It didn't bother me that much. It's pretty lightweight, weighs about a pound, and it doesn't seem to be a big deal, but more than likely, being a lazy hiker that I am, I really would not want to carry that on a longer trip. I'll probably take it on my Everglades trip, just because of the standing water, but in my other trips, I think I will leave it behind that I have planned. 2 more hikers just walked in that were with the cars and parked while I was recording this. I also learned that my bracket that I'm using to hold the camera is way too high. It's on my shoulder. Can't reach it. I have to put my chest probably below the strap where the padding is, so that I can get a easier access to it. And I'll experiment with that tomorrow again.